Back in June of 2020, we got a pretty substantial update to our traffic rules in Finland. Let's review the most noticeable ones today, almost 6 years later. Parking discs are no longer mandatory. We have lots of free time-limited parking in city areas. We commonly mark our arrival time on these discs to the next half hour. These are fairly standardized and used to be mandatory. I for one dislike this kind of bureaucracy. Nowadays you are allowed to mark your time any way you like as long as it's clear enough. You can, for instance, write your arrival time on a piece of paper and put it under the windshield. I suppose technically you could also carve your arrival time on the paint using your Finnish knife. But I've yet to see anyone do this, strangely enough. Most of us still use these discs, but it's nice to have options if you happen to lose yours. Even though you can buy a new one for about €2 at most stores. We got a bunch of new traffic signs, many of which I personally never seen, so let's go through the most common ones. The first one basically tells drivers to adjust their driving habits to bicycles. This next one marks a charging spot for electric vehicles. This marks 2 lanes merging into one. I've yet to see one of these. It is much more common for signs to specify which lane merges into the other, not meeting in the middle like this. Next up, bike lane. Simple, no parking or stopping allowed. Bicycle crossing. Now, we just got these in town last year. Normally cars don't have to give way to bicycles on crosswalks, but this one basically specifies that you have to. This just gives directions specifically for bicycles. We have these for pedestrians as well. These are signs indicating one-way roads or forbidden driving directions. They're old, but the add-on signs under them are new. They just specify that the signs don't concern bicycles. These ones are quite rare, and I have personally yet to see them. No studded tires allowed, and the other one is minimum speed limit. I suppose there are a few down in Helsinki, but none up here. A warning sign for deer-type animals. We've forever had warnings for moose and reindeer, but this one's new in this category. Speed camera sign. Yeah, these used to be yellow, but now they have been promoted to official traffic signs and become blue. Congratulations, speed camera sign, you're doing great. Sign for start of diverging ramp. This is not new, it just got official traffic sign status. These signs forbid pedestrians. Earlier, they just forbade mopeds without specifying them, except if they had an additional sign under it. It feels like most of these signs concern bicycles. No more yellow lines. The solid lines on the county roads used to be yellow to make them easier to distinguish from the white dotted ones. No more. Now all markings in the countryside are white. There are a few listed reasons for this. One is that it is the current EU standard, and we were the last ones to still have yellow lines. It is also claimed that they are easier to see in the dark. Maybe. Modern cars also have lane assist technology, and it is supposed to be more effective at detecting white lines. Yeah, could be. I haven't really studied that so closely. And it is cheaper to use one color instead of 2. That one I can get behind. Saving money. How frugal. Either way, the color has changed, but the rules stay the same. Don't cross the center line when your lane's line is solid. Simple. Except if you drive a BMW or Volvo. Then it's apparently optional. Then there's less vehicle-specific speed limits. This has been quite noticeable actually. Before the change, you were not allowed to tow a trailer faster than 80 kph. Now a light trailer can be towed at 100. People got accustomed to this pretty fast, and pretty much everyone started towing their trailers faster almost immediately. People are still pretty eager to pass cars with trailers though. For some reason it seems very unappealing to follow a van or a trailer for some reason, even if they are going above the speed limit. Can anyone explain this to me? I don't really get it. Vans and light trucks, under a total weight of 3.5 tons, used to be restricted to 100 kph or just 80 if they didn't have an airbag, but now they are free to follow the posted speed limits, just like regular cars. Heavier vehicles like heavy vans and trucks are still limited to 80, and that's enforced by a mechanical or electronic speed limiter, typically at just under 90 kph. The way we're fined was also altered significantly. Earlier, you got a fixed offense of €170 and a strike for exceeding the limit up to 20 kph. And if you got 3 strikes, you had to defend your case not to lose your license. Now you don't get any more strikes, but you get this liikennevirhemaksu, which roughly translates to traffic foul fee. There's probably an official English word for this, but literally translating things by myself is much more fun. Either way, now you get 3 different fees depending on how much you exceed the limit. Just 2 months before these changes, I got my last speeding ticket. I accelerated slightly out of a tunnel to keep pace with traffic, and there was a temporary camera on the hillside. I got clocked doing 69 kilometers per hour in a 60 zone, and I was fined €170. Had I done that 3 months later, it would have been just 100. I could have saved €70 by delaying my minor offense. Either way, I wasn't pleased. This was during the height of COVID, so my income was lousy and this really stung. The thing that hasn't changed is exceedings over 20 kph being related to incomes, which is why Finland makes international use every now and then. 6-figure speeding tickets sure sound like fun. Parking both ways is now allowed. People started slowly but surely parking on the left side of the road when they started to realize that it's now legal. It is a bit of a double-edged sword though. Sure, it is much easier to find a parking spot if both sides are available, but you have to cross the oncoming lane to access it, and once you're in it, it's much harder to get out, especially when sandwiched between 2 cars. Even worse if they're vans which you can't even see through. Now you have to avoid cars coming from both directions, and you have a lot more stuff blocking your view, because you're sitting on the wrong side of the car, farther from the street. I do sometimes take advantage of this rule change, but I prefer to avoid it. Maybe you drive an imported right-hand drive car. Well, at least they made your life easier. There were a few more changes, but these are the ones I've personally noticed. There are a few I think most of us have strayed out just forgotten about. For instance, the rules for changing to seasonal tires got more specific, but it doesn't make a lot of difference in practice. I still change from winter tires at the same time of year as before. Has your country recently gone through similar changes? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Bye for now.